Hello everyone, welcome back to Elite Tales. Here we discover the emotional and captivating stories about Elon Musk. In this video, we will capture the heartwarming moments of famous entrepreneur. Before we begin, I request you that please subscribe our channel for more interesting videos. On a cool morning in Los Angeles, as Elon Musk walked through the city streets, something unusual happened that would soon capture the hearts of millions. Amidst his world of groundbreaking technologies and space exploration, Elon was about to encounter something far simpler, but profoundly moving. It wasn't a new business deal or an innovative breakthrough. It was a small, scrappy stray cat, looking lost, but with a clear determination. The little feline, despite its matted fur and wary eyes, seemed to be following Elon as if drawn by some unseen force. Elon, ever the busy entrepreneur, didn't expect to become the center of attention for something so simple. But as he looked down, he saw the cat's hopeful eyes locked on him, a soft meow breaking through the noise of the city. It was clear the cat wasn't just looking for food. It had decided that Elon Musk was its new friend. As Musk continued to walk, the cat trotted behind him, carefully matching his pace. Elon chuckled softly, a smile creeping onto his face. "Well, aren't you persistent?" he murmured. The cat's eyes sparkled with trust, as though it had known something Musk himself hadn't figured out yet. Elon, for a moment, was torn. He had a full day ahead. Meetings, calls, and the usual whirlwind of tasks that came with being one of the most influential people in the world. But as the cat followed him down the street, something about the simplicity of the moment captured his heart. It wasn't just the stray's determination or its sad yet hopeful expression. It was the purity of the connection that was unfolding between them. Elon had always been known for his innovative mind, but this was something different, something that didn't involve rockets or electric cars. This was about a small act of kindness, a bond formed between two unlikely companions. People passing by noticed too. Smiles spread across the faces of onlookers as they watched the billionaire and the stray cat walking side by side. Phones came out, and soon the story was being shared online. Elon Musk and the stray cat who decided to follow him. By the time Elon reached his office, the cat had settled itself near his feet. His assistant, noticing the little fur ball, looked surprised. "Is this your cat?" she asked. Elon smiled and shook his head. "No, she's just decided to follow me," he said, his voice soft. The cat had now curled up next to his shoe, trusting and content in the quiet of the office. Elon didn't want to leave her in the street, but he wasn't sure how to care for a cat in the middle of a packed workday. A suggestion was made to take the cat to a shelter, but Elon hesitated. Shelters, while well-intentioned, often couldn't offer the care and attention that the little cat needed. So, Elon decided to do something unexpected. He gently scooped the cat up and whispered, "You're coming home with me." It wasn't a decision based on practicality. It was an instinctual choice that felt right in the moment. That evening, Elon introduced the cat to his home. The world may have known him for his visions of space and electric cars, but in that moment, he was simply a man who had opened his heart to a stray cat who had wandered into his life. The cat, named Nova, seemed to sense the safety of her new surroundings and explored every corner with a sense of quiet curiosity. Elon watched with a smile, amused by her hesitation and her newfound sense of freedom. For the first time in what felt like a long while, Elon felt something he hadn't in ages, a connection to the simple and the pure. His life, so often focused on technology, innovation, and pushing boundaries, was suddenly punctuated by the presence of something that needed nothing more than love and attention. Nova didn't care about rockets or electric cars or how many millions of dollars were in his bank account. She just needed a warm place to sleep and someone to care for her. And in that moment, Elon realized how much he needed the same things. He sat down on the couch, and Nova, after a few hesitant steps, hopped up next to him, curling up on his lap as if she'd always belonged there. Elon reached down and scratched behind her ears gently. Her soft purring filled the room, and for the first time in a long while, Elon felt at peace. It wasn't the kind of peace that came from solving complex problems or reaching new milestones. This was a different kind of peace. A quiet, unspoken bond between a man and an animal who had found each other at just the right time. As the evening wore on, Elon reflected on how his life had changed in ways he never expected. He had been so consumed with the pursuit of success, with revolutionizing industries and exploring the unknown, that he had overlooked the simple joys of life. Yet here was Nova, a stray cat, reminding him of what it meant to slow down and appreciate the small moments. There was something humbling about how this tiny creature, who had been abandoned and wandering the streets, could find solace in him. The next morning, as Elon prepared for another busy day filled with meetings and presentations, he found himself reluctant to leave Nova behind. She had already made herself at home, her little paws padding softly across the floor, and when he opened the door to leave, she followed him to the threshold, meowing softly as if to remind him not to go. Elon paused, looking down at her. It was a small, seemingly insignificant moment, but it carried weight. A stray cat had chosen him, and now he felt responsible for her. "Looks like I've got a new companion for the day," Elon said with a chuckle as he scooped Nova up into his arms. He didn't know exactly what he was going to do with her during the hectic workday, but he couldn't bear the thought of leaving her alone. He took her with him, not as a part of his workday agenda, but simply because he wanted to share his world with her, even for just a few hours. At Tesla's headquarters, Nova became an instant hit. Employees who had only ever seen Elon as the visionary leader of the company were now witnessing a different side of him. He wasn't just a CEO or a tech mogul. He was a man who cared about the little things, about the creatures who crossed his path, and about the unexpected bonds that formed in life. Nova made her rounds, exploring the office and curling up in various corners, her presence a calm reminder that there was more to life than just work and ambition. People smiled as they walked by, some offering Nova a quick pat or a few words of affection. Elon noticed how this small act, bringing a stray cat into a high-powered business environment, brought people together. The cat didn't care about status or titles. She simply brought joy to everyone she encountered. It was as if Nova had a way of making the world a little softer, a little more approachable. Throughout the day, as Elon tackled his usual responsibilities, he couldn't help but glance over at Nova, who had found a cozy spot near his desk. Her calm presence was a stark contrast to the usual hustle of the office, and he felt grateful for the balance she brought into his life. It wasn't long before he realized how much this small change had affected him. Nova wasn't just a distraction or an amusing anecdote to share with friends. She had become a symbol of something more, a reminder to take a step back, breathe, and appreciate the quiet moments that often get lost in the chaos of life. As the weeks passed, Nova's presence continued to shape Elon's daily routine. She was no longer just a stray cat. She had become a companion, a confidant, and a source of joy. Whenever he faced a tough decision or a challenging moment, Nova would be there by his side, offering a calming presence. In her simple way, she reminded him that not every solution had to come from technology or innovation. Sometimes the answer lay in the quiet moments of connection, in the small acts of kindness that might seem insignificant, but actually had the power to change lives. One morning, as Elon sat at his desk in his private office, scrolling through reports and proposals for the upcoming SpaceX mission, he felt the weight of the day pressing on him. His mind was overwhelmed with the complexity of the projects ahead, each one more demanding than the last. He had always prided himself on his ability to multitask, but that day, The constant barrage of emails, meetings, and high-stakes decisions left him feeling drained. Just as his mind was about to short-circuit with information overload, a soft meow broke through his thoughts. He looked down to see Nova, perched on the edge of his desk, looking up at him with those big, knowing eyes. She jumped up to sit beside him, curling up in her familiar spot on the corner of the desk, where she often rested while he worked. Elon let out a deep breath, his tense shoulders relaxing for the first time that morning. He absent-mindedly stroked Nova's fur, letting her purring soothe his frayed nerves. There was something about her quiet presence that made everything seem less chaotic. The world could wait, he thought. In that moment, the only thing that mattered was the warmth of the small, furry creature beside him. As he looked at her, he realized that this was a lesson he had learned from Nova. While he was used to thinking of solutions in terms of breakthroughs, patents, and cutting-edge technology, Nova's approach was refreshingly simple. She didn't need all the answers. She didn't need to figure out the mysteries of the universe. She simply lived in the moment, embraced what came her way, and found peace in the little things. And for the first time in a while, Elon realized that perhaps he, too, needed to take a step back and embrace the small moments. The rest of the day seemed to unfold with a new sense of clarity. Instead of pushing himself to make quick decisions or rush through the tasks at hand, Elon allowed himself to be present in each moment. When he met with the SpaceX team to discuss the future of Mars exploration, he listened more intently, giving each idea the time it deserved. He didn't feel the usual pressure to have all the answers right away. Instead, he took a breath, allowed himself to be still, and trusted that the right path would emerge in time. Nova continued to be his constant companion, whether at the office, in his home, or even when he traveled for business. She had become a grounding presence in his life, and he couldn't imagine his days without her. Her calming influence was especially apparent when he traveled abroad to meet with Tesla's partners or to speak at industry conferences. When the meetings became too intense, he would retreat to his hotel room, where Nova would be waiting for him, ready to offer her comfort. One evening, after a particularly grueling conference, Elon found himself alone in his hotel suite. The day had been filled with discussions about new electric vehicle designs, climate change initiatives, and AI advancements. It was an important event, one that could have a lasting impact on the future of sustainable energy. But by the end of the night, he felt completely drained. He entered his suite, shutting the door behind him. Nova was already lounging on the bed, as though she knew he needed her. He sat down beside her, taking a moment to just breathe and let go of the tension in his body. He reached out to pet her, and she nuzzled his hand in response, purring softly. For a brief moment, Elon forgot about the weight of the world on his shoulders. The noise of the industry, the pressure to innovate, and the expectations of millions of people faded into the background. All that mattered in that moment was the quiet companionship of a cat who had found him when he needed her most. As the days turned into weeks, the connection between Elon and Nova deepened. She wasn't just a pet. She had become an integral part of his life, offering him a sense of comfort and perspective he hadn't realized he needed. In her simplicity, she taught him the importance of stillness, of taking a pause to reflect and breathe before diving into the next challenge. One day, as Elon sat at his desk once again, he found himself reflecting on the progress he had made, not just with his companies, but with his own personal growth. The past year had been one of incredible achievements, from launching the first manned mission to Mars to breaking new ground in sustainable energy. Yet, despite all the milestones, it was Nova who had brought the most unexpected form of success into his life. He thought about how she had gently reshaped his perspective. In the past, he had always been driven by the desire to change the world, to leave his mark on history. While those ambitions were important, Nova had taught him that Sometimes the most profound changes came from within. By embracing the present moment, by allowing himself to slow down and appreciate the simple joys in life, he had found a new sense of peace and fulfillment that had been missing from his previous, more frenetic existence. As Nova jumped into his lap and settled in comfortably, Elon felt a deep sense of gratitude. She had come into his life as a stray, a simple cat looking for food and shelter. But in doing so, she had become much more than that. She had become a teacher, showing him the power of quiet moments and the importance of connecting with the present. He knew that his work would continue to demand his attention, that his visions for the future would drive him forward. But now he understood that true success wasn't just about achieving big things. It was also about finding balance, about appreciating the quiet moments, and about sharing love and connection with those around him, whether they were humans or animals. As Elon looked down at Nova, her soft fur against his skin, he realized that the greatest gift he had received from her was not just her companionship, but the way she had opened his heart to the simple joys of life. He didn't need to conquer the world every day. Sometimes, all it took was a cat's gentle presence to remind him that the world was already beautiful, just as it was. And as Nova purred contentedly in his lap, Elon felt the quiet realization settle in. He had found something he didn't know he was missing. And in that moment, he knew that Nova had not only changed his life, but had also brought him closer to the kind of success that mattered most, a life filled with love, balance, and quiet moments of connection. Next time you come across a stray cat, remember Nova's journey and think about how a small act of kindness can transform a life. After all, you never know when you might become a part of someone else's story of unexpected connection. That's the story of how a stray cat changed the life of one of the world's most influential people. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more uplifting tales, and share it with your friends. Let's spread the word that no matter who you are, kindness can make all the difference. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.